Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sangha, and some attentive chanting, which we'll do later on. And so we've been talking about Maharaj Prithu and then his generations that are now being discussed. And it's wonderful, wonderful pastimes. So we have the Pachetas who go for 10,000 years austerity and meet Lord Shiva on the way. Actually, Lord Shiva arranged it so that he meets them. He wants to advise them, and then this advice is in a form of a song mentioned here. So, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. So it's mentioned that a person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births. So one who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. That's the requirement to become Brahma, to be totally pious, do bhakti for 100 births. And if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. So higher than that is meeting Lord Shiva. So it's easier to become Brahma than to meet Lord Shiva. And although we say that Lord Shiva is very easily pleased, but it's mentioned here that it's very, very difficult to meet Lord Shiva. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. So it seems it's easier to worship Lord Krishna than to become Brahma or meet Lord Shiva. But can we do unalloyed devotional service? That's the question. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of this material world. So when they're here, when the material world is destroyed, they go to the spiritual realm. Let's do a prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kirpatamam Vande Shri Gurundin Taranam Brahmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hariyam Tassat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Uduriyet Nastaprishav Abhadareshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nishtaki. Hare Krishna. So Lord Shiva says, you are all devotees of the Lord, and as such, I appreciate that you are respectable. You are respectable as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. I know in this way that the devotees also respect me and that I am dear to them. Thus, no one can be as dear to the devotees as I am. Now, I shall chant one mantra, which is not only transcendental, pure, and auspicious, but is the best prayer for everyone who is aspiring to attain the ultimate goal of life. When I chant this mantra, please hear it carefully and attentively. So Lord Shiva is telling the Prachetas that please hear from me carefully and attentively. The great sage Maitreya continued, out of his causeless mercy, the exalted personality Lord Shiva, a great devotee of Lord Narayan, continued to speak to the king's sons who were standing with folded hands. So Lord Shiva voluntarily came to bless the sons of the king as well as do something beneficial for them. So, he made special arrangements to see the Prachetas, the king's sons, and advise them and bless them. Lord Shiva voluntarily came, so He personally chanted the mantra so the mantra would be more powerful, and he advised that the mantra be chanted by the king's sons. When a mantra is chanted by a great devotee, the mantra becomes more powerful. So when our Guru Maharaj, Jayapataka Swami, when he's chants on the beads of people getting initiated, you know, the beads become activated for you because the spiritual master had chanted on them. His potency is passed on to the beads. Although the Hare Krishna mantra is powerful in itself, a disciple upon initiation receives the mantra from his spiritual master. But when the mantra is chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes more powerful. So it's already very powerful. That's why it's called the Maha Mantra. But when it's chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes even more powerful. And how convenient this is that, you know, we had the initiation yesterday, the same thing going on. And now we are talking about it. Lord Shiva advised the sons of the king to hear him attentively, for inattentive hearing is offensive. So that's one of our offenses, of the 10 offenses. Lord Shiva addressed the Supreme Personality Godhead with the following prayer. O Supreme Personality Godhead, all glories unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of the all-perfect instructions you give. You are the super soul. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you as a supreme living being. So Lord Shiva is addressing now Lord Narayan or Krishna himself, and is praying to him. So he's showing the Prachetas the, you know, how you should pray. My Lord, you are the origin of the creation by virtue of the lotus flower which sprouts from your navel. You are the supreme controller of the senses and the sense objects, and you are also the all-pervading Vasudeva. You are most peaceful, and because of your self-eliminated existence, you are not disturbed by the 6 kinds of transformations. So we already know that Krishna is all-pervading. We know he's Rishikesha, controller of the senses and sense objects. So what's this? You are not disturbed by the 6 kinds of transformation. And we're not talking about birth, growth, like that transformation. We talk about, Sri Prabhupada explains that although the Lord is within this material world, he's not disturbed by the waves of material existence. However, conditioned souls are agitated by 6 kinds of transformations. And what are these? They become agitated when they are hungry, when they are thirsty, when they are aggrieved, when they are illusioned, when they grow old, and when they are on their deathbed. So these 6 things agitate us very much. And they are known as the transformations of our lives. My dear Lord, you're the origin of the subtle material ingredients, the master of all integration, as well as the master of all disintegration. So he's actually the creator and the destroyer himself, or he makes the arrangements. The predominating deity named Sankarshan and the master of all intelligence, known as the predominating deity Pradyumna. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. So Sripad explains that the whole universe is maintained by the integrating power of the Supreme Lord, who is known in that capacity by the name Sankarshan. The material scientists may have discovered the law of gravity, which maintains the integration of objects within the material energy, yet the master of all integration can create devastation by the disintegration, blazing fire emanating from his mouth. A description of this can be found in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, wherein the universal form of the Lord is described. The master of integration is also the destroyer of this world by virtue of his disintegrating energy. So Krishna is the integrator and the disintegrator. Excuse me. Sankarshan is the master of integration and disintegration. Whereas Pradyumna, another feature of Lord Vasudeva, is responsible for universal growth and maintenance. The word suksham, suksmaya, is significant because within this gross material body, there are subtle material bodies, namely mind, intelligence, and ego. The Lord, in his different features, Vasudeva, Anirudh, Pradyumna, and Sankarshan, maintains both the gross and subtle material elements of this world. So Krishna, everything is planned, everything is controlled, nothing is by chance. The mind, intelligence, ego, there's a personality for everyone, for everything is controlled by them. So Srila Prabhupada explained that as mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita, the gross material elements are earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And the subtle material elements are mind, intelligence, and ego. All of them are controlled by the Supreme Personality Godhead as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. And this will be further explained in the following verses. So, Lord Shiva is glorifying Lord Narayan and also explaining that he knows that how everything is controlled by Lord Narayan. My Lord, as the supreme directing deity known as Anirudh, you are the master of the senses and mind. I therefore offer my obeisance unto you again and again. You are known as Ananta as well as Sankarshan because of your ability to destroy the whole creation by the blazing fire from your mouth. My Lord, O Anirudh, you are the authority by which the doors of the higher planetary systems and liberation are opened. You are always within the pure heart of the living entity. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. You are the possessor of semen which is like gold, and thus in the form of fire, you help the Vedic sacrifices, beginning with Chaturhotra. Therefore, I offer my obeisance unto you. My Lord, you are the provider of the Pitraloks as well as all the demigods. You are the predominating deity of the moon and the master of all three Vedas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are the original source of satisfaction for all living entities. My dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form which contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. You are the maintainer of the three worlds, and as such, you maintain the mind, senses, body, and air of life within them. I therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto you. So Lord Shiva, he understands, God in so many ways. How many things the Lord is controlling and is glorifying those aspects, and is informing us, all the Pachetas as well, that how everything is controlled by the Lord himself. Every little thing and every big thing is controlled, and how is the Lord all pervading as a gigantic universal form. And that's just the little speck or fragment of the Lord's energy can control the whole of the universe. My dear Lord, by expanding your transcendental vibrations, you reveal the actual meaning of everything. You are all pervading sky within and without, and you are the ultimate goal of pious activities executed both within this material world and beyond it. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto you. This is the song sung by Lord Shiva. My dear Lord, you are the viewer of the results of pious activities. You are inclination, disinclination, and the resultant activities. You are the cause of the miserable conditions of life caused by irreligion, and therefore you are death. I offer you my respectful obeisances. So Sri Prabhupada explains that the Supreme Personal Godhead is situated in everyone's heart, and from him issue a living entity's inclinations and disinclinations. In other words, our desires, different desires. And how are they issued? This is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 15, shloka 15. Sarvasya cham hirde sanavishto matha samriti jnano apanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So Krishna reminds us of our desires from previous lives, what we wanted to do, what we wanted to be. And if we still have those desires, then he guides us, he helps us. And they can be good or bad desires. He will help us either way. And he gives us the knowledge how to do this. And forgetfulness of our past lives, because otherwise, we'll go mad if we remember our past lives. So he helps us to forget our previous events. The Supreme Personal Godhead causes the Asuras to forget him. So this is another way he helps us to forget him. People who don't want to know about him, they will forget about him, won't even know there's such thing as God. They can become atheists. And the devotees to remember him. Once disinclinations are due to the Supreme Personality Godhead. So according to Bhagavad Gita 60.7, Pravritim cha nivirtim cha jana na vidur asurha. The asuras don't know which way one should be inclined to act and which way one should not be inclined to act. Although the asuras oppose devotional service, it is to be understood that they are inclined that way due to Supreme Personality Godhead, because the asuras don't like to engage in the Lord's devotional service. So if that's your wish, then Krishna will help you with that. The Lord within gives them the intelligence to forget. Ordinary karma is desire promotion to Pitalok, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti Deva, Brita Devan, Pitran Yanti Pitra Brita. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. And those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors. So it's all down to our desires. What do we desire? Do we want to go? Do we want to worship demigods? Then Krishna will arrange it so. Do we want to worship our ancestors? Krishna will arrange it so. He's the, although we say he's not an order supplier, but he definitely helps us with our desires. My dear Lord, you are the topmost of all bestowers of all benediction, the oldest and supreme enjoyer amongst all enjoyers. You are the master of all the world's metaphysical philosophy, for you are the supreme cause of all causes, Lord Krishna. You are the greatest of all religious principles, the supreme mind, and you have a brain which is never checked by any condition. Therefore, I repeatedly offer my obeisance unto you. So these things we actually forget. And, if we chant this again and again, then, we can help ourselves to remember how great Krishna is. And this is why Krishna, in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, discussed about his opulences. So we can remember. It's not that he's saying, "Oh, look at me, how great I am." It's so that we can remember him through his opulences. And Lord Shiva is also reminding us of the Lord's opulences. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities, and results of sense activities, which is karma. Therefore, you are the control of the body, mind, and senses. You are also supreme control of egotism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and the activities of the Vedic injunctions. Everyone acts under the dictation of the ego, Srila Prabhupada explains. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to purify false egotism through the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Shiva or Rudra is himself the controller of egotism. He indirectly wants to be purified by the mercy of the Lord, so that his real egotism can be awakened. Of course, Lord Rudra is always spiritually awake, but for our benefit, he's praying in this way. So even Lord Shiva is praying that please help my ego. For the impersonalist, pure egotism is Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. That's for the impersonalist. But its actual position is the spiritual soul has devotional activities to perform. So you can understand I am a spiritual soul, but then so what? So now what does that mean? I am spiritual soul. I'm not this body, I'm not material, I'm spiritual. So we all know that much. Then what about it? What's the significance of knowing that information? It must mean something, that we know we are spiritual, we're not it actually opens the doors to so many things, knowing that this body, you are spiritual, which means you are eternal. It means you have been here before, and why are you now in this body? What kind of bodies did you have before? And what is your duty? Who, through whom you are here, whose part are you as spiritual? We know whose part we are as material of our parents, but whose part are you as spiritual? And then if you find out that we are Lord's fragment, then so what about it? And what's our duty? What commitments do we have to the Lord? So our actual position is the spiritual has devotional activities to perform. So we are servants of the Lord. That's what we find out, that we are fragment of the Lord, and our connection with the Lord, our relationship with the Lord is through service, serving him. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged both in mind and in action in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, according to the direction of the Vedas. So all the demigods, they're all serving. See that they're all serving the Lord. All the sun, the wind, the moon, they're all serving the Lord. Everything is service. Everyone is serving. So, who are we to say that we don't need to serve when everyone is serving? Lord Hanuman served Lord Ram, to the maximum. That was his servant of the Lord. Shiva says, I'm your servant. He wants to serve you. So who are we not, to say that we are the masters and not the servants? This is the process for purifying false egotism. Cheta means knowledge. Without perfect knowledge, one cannot act perfectly. The real source of knowledge is the vacha, or sound vibration, given by Vedic instructions. Hera, the vacha or vibration, means the Vedic vibration. The origin of creation is sound vibration. And if the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually become manifest. This is enacted by the chanting of the Mahamantra. So the origin of creation is sound vibration. And if we vibrate this sound, which is clear and purified, we will get, once we get purified, knowledge will manifest itself. This is why you have the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thus, Lord Shiva is praying again and again for the purification of body, mind, and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under the pure direction of the Vedas. Lord Shiva prays to the Supreme Personality Godhead so that his mind, senses, and words will all turn towards devotional activities only. My dear Lord, I wish to see you exactly in the form that your very dear devotees worship. You have many other forms, but I wish to see your form that is especially liked by the devotees. Please be merciful upon me and show me that form, but only that form worshipped by the devotees can perfectly satisfy all the demands of the senses. So Lord Shiva is praying to the Lord to see his form, just like Brahma, when he was trying to find out where this sound is coming from. It took him a long time to see Lord Narayan, So how difficult it is. And these are the direct associates of the Lord, and even they can't get his association. So it's amazing that we have this opportunity. We should not miss it. So thank you also very much, my Father Noji, Hina Mataji, Partha Prabhu, Pureen Mataji, Sarveshi Mataji. Thank you for joining. Please do give your comments and realizations, and love to hear from you. Maybe we'll stop with Sarveshi Mataji today. Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, can you hear me? Sarveshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think I was listening today. I'm not commenting anything today. Let others do it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Bye. Pureen Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danvat Pranam to everyone. It's beautiful, verses that we have read today. So basically, like Lord Shiva is praying on our behalf and glorifying the Lord. So, and it's just synopsis of the Bhagavad-Gita, all the important shlokas, mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. And the final prayer by Lord Shiva, where Lord Shiva is saying that his mind, senses, and words, turn towards the devotional service. So that is what is our desire. So we can engage, so rather than just thinking, yes, I'm not this body, I'm soul, but our goal of life is to be the servant of the Lord and to serve Him. So it's beautiful. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Partha Prabhu, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Few points, Prabhuji. I could recollect only few. In the beginning, you said it's easy to please Lord Shiva. And again, you said it is easier to become Brahma than to meet Lord Shiva. So that shows what is actually the easiest thing then. Nothing is easy, really. And then when mantra is chanted by the devotee, it becomes more powerful. Like when spiritual master chant the bead during the initiation and give the chanting bead, then it becomes more powerful. So I was just trying to link this to Kaliya Damman pastime, where the ladies next asked that now that you have taken all the poison from this my husband's snakes, how they can be protected, because Garuda is always waiting for him. And he said, now that he has seen my foot stamp on his head, I put the foot stamp on his head. So with my foot stamp, now he can understand and he will never come to him. He'll never touch him. So I thought that's so powerful. Like when the spiritual master chant the bead and give us, that adds more significant to our chanting bead as well. Our mantra becomes more powerful when it comes from spiritual master. And Lord Shiva is confirming here that for everything, the source is only Krishna, and he is the creator and he is the annihilator both. He is the one. And Prabhupada nicely explained about different expansions here. I always had a doubt that what is the role of Pradyumna and Aniruddha, but I think this purport has got information about Aniruddha and Pradyumna as well. And you said last point, like knowing that I'm a spirit soul and not the body, that's it is not sufficient. All demigods also serving the Supreme Lord. So where are we? That's all, Pravesh.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very nice. Yeah, but the spiritual master chanting on the beads, sometimes devotees lose their beads, and then they thinking that now if the other beads seem ordinary, the ones the spiritual master has chanted on, seem special and more potent. So although when you're chanting on your beads, when you're chanting on your beads every day, the beads are activated, they are potent, but obviously you give more respect to the spiritual master, that the ones he chanted on are more potent. Some devotees will get the spiritual master, they will ask for beads sent again, after the spiritual master has chanted, or if they see the spiritual master, they will ask him to chant on the beads for them, so they can start reusing the new beads. And to be honest, my beads I never take them out of the house. I've got many bead bags, and one for work and one for the car, like that. But my original one stays home, and I don't want to lose it. But sometimes you have these emergency beads, or hopefully for extra rounds, keep them in the car, etc. Yeah, very nice. Thank you, brother. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you for the class, Prabhu. Really nice. I was thinking how fortunately Prashettas, I can't pronounce the word properly, Prashettas, how fortunate they are with Lord Shiva going to visit them. And obviously you're starting the prayers. It's a very long chapter, a long section. This one, and how he's glorifying Lord Krishna at the beginning. So that was lovely. And how Lord Shiva is praying for the Lord's association and to see him, which is very instructive for us. Obviously, if it's difficult for Lord Shiva to see Lord Krishna, he's praying the same thing that we're praying for. So it demonstrates how difficult it is and how difficult the path can be. Yet at the same time, it was really nice when you talked to him about our desires and how our free will that we have is very powerful, and we need to make sure that our desires are almost directed properly, so we are always moving along on our path back to Godhead. And that, that's one powerful thing that we do have. I did have one question though. You did at the beginning of the verse, and Prabhu also kind of mentioned it about how difficult it is to meet Shiva. Have I understood this correctly? And I think you said it is. Please correct me if I'm misunderstood. But I think you said something about the verse about how difficult it is to meet Lord Shiva and Brahma. It's more difficult than Lord Krishna. Is that right? Have I understood that correctly?
Yeah, what you're saying that we have this opportunity by just chanting. Prabhupada mentions again and again throughout Bhagavad-Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam that if you try to meet Lord Shiva, obviously we're not going to meet Lord Shiva by chanting the Mahamantra. We're not going to meet Lord Brahma by chanting the Mahamantra. To meet them, there's obviously other methods, and it's described that they're very difficult. You see the asuras in the past, how difficult austerities they would do, trying to invoke Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. We can't even imagine doing anything like that. So when it's now Krishna has made it so easy for us to see him. So why don't we take the opportunity just by chanting the holy name in a pure way, with attention, we can see Lord Krishna himself. Never mind Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma. We can see Krishna himself by chanting by chanting the holy name. I think that's the idea behind it. That he's made it so easy. Lord Krishna has made it so easy in the Kali Yuga that we can just meet him just by chanting the Mahamantra. Whereas trying to, which is it should be more difficult than meeting Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, but yet it's become so easy.
That's helpful. Thank you for the explanation, Prabhu. Thank you. Haribol. Thank you.
Actually, let me just have a quick look at that, because it does say here, it's right at the beginning, you're quite right. So it says, a person who executes his occupation duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. And if he becomes, so not meet Lord Brahma, to become Brahma, that is. And if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. We can't become Lord Shiva, but we can approach Lord Shiva. We can become Brahma, but we can't become Lord Shiva, because there's only Lord Shiva is eternal. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna. So now he's talking about Krishna. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotion service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. And what will happen in the spiritual planet? You will meet Lord Krishna. And so even Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of this material world. So that's the highest position, is to meet Lord Krishna. But obviously, we have to do pure devotional service and pure chanting to get to that stage. But we are mortal beings, and we just do our best, and then we rely on Krishna's mercy to pull us up. Thank you, Andrei. So I hope that's okay. Any other questions? We got 5. You want to say something?
Hare Krishna, everyone. I know we always hear that Lord Shiva gives the benedictions or the the vardhans very quickly. That even we see nowadays as well. We have people who are so much attached to Lord Shiva. They will go to the temple on on Monday, and maybe even in their homes they will offer the milk and the the water mixed to Lord Shiva's Shivling, because they all know that Lord Shiva gets pleased very easily, and we have heard as well. But we have seen in the case of Ravan that how much long tapasya he had to do to please Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva sometimes even, sometimes rather, we've seen in all the stories that he grants all the wishes just like that. And then sometimes there's a caveat to those wishes which he has granted, which I think Krishna has to take care that somehow, okay, I will have to fulfill the wish what Shiva has granted now. But because Shiva is the most dearest Vaishnava for Krishna, but Krishna is going to manipulate that wish in such a way that we have seen in the case of Ravan, that whatever he asked for, he was granted. But then again, he met his end also through Lord himself. So in a way, the bottom line, what I have understood from today's verse is that we have to be very careful in desiring what we desire. And if we are not careful, if we don't know what to desire, I think it's best to leave it to God and say that, Lord, whatever is right, just do that to me or do for me. And if we have some desires, then please, we have to, like Prabhupada uses the word dovetail, align them in Krishna's service properly. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is the desires are going to be fulfilled, good or bad, because that's the promise of Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita. And we will have to suffer the consequences. Either we'll get puffed up, we'll get illusioned, we'll think that I am it, I am the power, I am everything. And then what will happen is our sadhana is going to suffer as devotees. So we have to be very careful what we desire for. And if we don't know, I think it's best to consult your spiritual master, if not even the senior devotees or 1 or 2 special devotees you have in your life who you can confide with, who you can discuss your issues with. So not just problems are big for us as human beings, our desires, I think they are the biggest problems for us, because we don't know. We just look at somebody with something and we think, oh, I want that. Oh, I want to be like that. Oh, this person is a good speaker. I want to be a good speaker. This person is a good singer or instrument player. I want to be that. This person is a nice cook. So we don't know that it requires so much austerity and discipline in achieving any skill, and we have to just actually serve Krishna in at least one of the Navvidhas, one of the 9 processes properly, and then our strengths are revealed to us. But because we are living in the illusion world, our minds are disturbed. So I think we can just pray to Krishna, this Krishna, please, as super soul in my heart, guide me to have good desires. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, one problem I was thinking is actually mentioned, I think is in chapter 2, that when our desires are fulfilled, we become greedy. And well, even they're not fulfilled, we become angry. So either way,
We are unhappy.
our desires are not suitable. We should go with the what Krishna wants, and do things, have desires that would please Krishna rather than please ourselves. Because when we get something, we want more and more and more, and we don't get it. We just get angry about it, and we might blame God Himself that you don't give me things that I need, I want, etc., etc. So, yeah, just try and please the Lord. I think is the best policy. So thank you so much, and let's do some chanting. Maybe Swashi Mataji, please chant the first round, and Praveen Mataji, second round. Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya